Date is Monday, September 12th, 2016. I call to order this meeting of the Goose Creek CISD Board of Trustees. Before proceeding with tonight's agenda, I would like to remind everyone in attendance that this meeting is being recorded through video and audio technology. Also at this time, I ask that everybody silence or turn off your electrical devices. Thank you very much. Ms. Woods, was this meeting properly posted?
Yes.
And do we have an agenda, a quorum?
Yes, we have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to opening exercises. Dr. Duarte.
President Richard, school board members, Mr. O'Brien, we will begin our opening ceremonies with the prayer led by Howard Sampson. Everyone, please rise.
Everybody would bow their heads, please. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for this gathering, that we are here as a school board making decisions for our district and the district for the community. Father, I'm hoping that this will be another day that you show grace upon our district and our teachers and our principals and our administrators. Father, thank you for the people who showed up tonight. And thank you, Father, for the troops and policemen, and Father, for all who are having problems and looking at things in a different way. In Christ's name, we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
The pledges will be led by Jessica Woods.
Place your hand over your heart, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
You may be seated.
Board members, before we move on with the program tonight, I'd like to make a public statement thanking the citizens of Goose Creek ISD for their overwhelming support of our tax ratification election proposal. Unofficial results are very, very positive for us, and I just think we just needed to have a little shout out to our citizens for putting their faith and trust in us, and that we do a good job with their resources. Okay, at this time we'll have a public hearing regarding the optional flexible school day program for Peter E. Highland Center and Impact Early College High School. Dr. Duarte.
Within your packets, you have a copy of the application that will be submitted to the state. One of the requirements is that we hold a public hearing for any comments that the audience may want to provide. In regards to the optional flexible school day, there are eligibility requirements that we must meet for the campuses. Students must meet one of the following criteria. We have to service students at risk of dropping out of school, attending a school implementing an approved innovative campus plan. They must attend a school with an approved early college high school program designation, and as a result of attendance requirements will be denied credit for one or more classes in which the student has been enrolled. And so both Peter E. Highland and Impact Early College High School meet the criteria for our students. A public hearing must be held, and so that's what we're doing today prior to submission of our application. It also talks about reviewing the performance for the campuses, and we have done that here at our previous board meeting. We have 2 campuses that would be participating and eligible for the application, and it would be Peter E. Highland and Impact. There are program requirements that must be met by both of the campuses. We still have to administer all mandatory assessment instruments, so we are not remiss of having to give STAR EOC exams. All of our instructional materials and facilities must be comparable to similar programs, so we offer the opportunities for our students to graduate under the certain high school diploma programs. Students will not be isolated from other academic and vocational programs, and students have access to counselors, which are housed on both campuses. We must provide knowledgeable, highly qualified instructors and staff, and students are not penalized in accordance with the 90% attendance rule, and we require students to attend regularly scheduled instruction. That is the briefest overview I can give you in regards to the waiver. Within the application, it does go through the program goals that we have for both Peter E. Highland and Impact Early College High School.
And just as a footnote, in the future, we may be adding a campus to that. Career Tech High School would be an eligible campus for this program as well.
Do we have any public comments or any questions from the board?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to citizens' participation. Mr. Garcia, do we have anyone signed up? No one signed up. Moving on to next item of business, approval of minutes from the August 22nd regular board meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from the August 22nd regular board meeting.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Coffey, a second by Mr. Sampson to approve the August 22nd board meeting minutes. Any discussion? No discussion. All in favor, please signify yes by raising your right hand. All in favor, 6-4, 1 absent. Okay. Mr. O'Brien, action item 6A, consideration of consent agenda.
At this time, administration brings before you for consent agenda, number 1, application for optional flexible school day program for Peter E. Highland Center and Impact Early College High School. Number 2, memorandum of understanding with Lee College for Impact Early College High School. Number 3, contract with Estes McClure and Associates and Corp. To perform commissioning services for various projects on a task request basis at various district facilities. Number 4, resolution regarding extracurricular status of 4-H members and consideration of adjunct faculty agreement for both Chambers and Harris County. Number 5, third extension of competitive seal proposal for spirit wear and apparel. Number 6, second option to extend request for proposal, RFP for electrical services, time and material. Number 7, Instructional Leadership Council, ILC, end of year report. Number 8, TASB Localized Policy Manual number update 105. And number 9, Superintendent Expenditures.
Does any board member want to pull any of these items?
I would like to pull out. Sorry. Item A2.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm sorry.
Anybody else? We've pulled A2 at this point. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that we approve consent agenda items A1 and A3 through 9.
A second.
We have a motion from Ms. Coffey, a second from Ms. Cockle to approve consent agenda items A1, A3 through A9. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Motion passes 6-4, 1 absent. Now A2. Mr. Laredo.
I'd like to invite Dr. Duarte to the table. And Ms. Yepes is here with us this evening.
Dr. Sushan is here as well.
She's welcome to join us, Dr. Sushan. Mr. Laredo, you had questions about the MOU?
Yes, I do. Notice that on the MOU, I'm trying to think what page. Page 8, there's something at the beginning of the first page about extracurricular activities. And I think on the MOU part, page 8, something about that students having to maintain a 2.5 or higher GPA in order to stay in extracurriculars, otherwise they would be withdrawn. When early college high school was built, the original intent was that the kids, I know that they have dances and stuff, and I'm all for that. I'm all for anything that we can do at the campus to make them feel like they're having a high school experience. But originally the school, one of the things that they sacrificed was extracurriculars at the campus. Because it was going to be a lot of movement and stuff, and they really need to concentrate. Now that we have a little bit more of a challenge, well, we changed that, because some people were allowed to do extracurriculars and others weren't, and we were either all in or all out. Well, now that we're doing this MOU, and I know it's a little late, I understand that, but I don't think it's a good. I would like for us to go back where the kids didn't go to extracurriculars if they're going to impact, that that this is one thing they have to give up, especially given the parameters that the state has given us in the way that our kids are chosen, because even more so because now, we unfortunately have kids that are struggling just to get into the college classes. You add extracurriculars and I feel that we have a little bit more of an issue. In addition to that, if a kid is in a program, say football, or say band, and all of a sudden their GPA drops 2.5, they have to quit that. And that's, I believe, unfair to the program as a whole. That affects our kids. And there's certain programs where a kid could be something that, that helps. Of course, no program depends on one kid, but you understand what I'm saying. And so I think that to avoid a lot of issues with parents and kids and directors and coaches and teachers, and to make sure that the kids understand what the purpose of the school is, I personally would like to have us not allow the kids that I know we have kids that are grandfather what we have, but any kid coming in new from now on, I would like for us to see that they're not allowed to go into extracurriculars, that's one thing they have to give up to go and have the privilege of being in this school.
Ms. Yepes, you could probably speak to the Summer Bridge program, in which a lot of this is explained to the students, and the burden is on the student at that point. But go ahead and talk a little bit about what you do to inform the students of the narrow scope.
Well, overall, we just make it very clear that it's about academics. I guess I'm, in my own personal experience and people around me who were able to do the academics and do the other activities. It's a bonus, and it's a positive thing for them to be, as far as overall being a well-rounded student. So we felt that keeping that in there with the grade, qualification was a way to have a happy medium for those students who actually can do both, and that they were able to do both well. I think my number 3 student in the sophomore class she plays soccer, and I want to say she ran track, and she's doing extremely well at Impact and at Lee College, and she can handle it. So to pull that from those kinds of students, I think is unfair. I do understand what you're saying as far as the way that it was maybe laid out at the very beginning. Since I've been there, students were already participating in extracurriculars when I got there. And so I just picked up from there, and we're just trying to improve it. If I guess I could ask that we kind of see how this goes with the grade qualification to see whether or not that would be something you guys would want to change in the future. But I do see the benefit of the extracurriculars as far as that being a positive thing for students at our school, because we don't have a lot of other things. So we're very limited in what we can do, and those things that they're able to do artistically, athletically, those are big things for them. And so, as much as possible, we try to get them involved at Lee College with some of those activities as well. And so, I don't know how you could balance that and pull away the high school extracurriculars.
Ms. Yepes, I'm sorry, Ms. Reyes, going back way long.
Way back.
Can I say that too?
What are the numbers of students that are participating in extracurricular activities off of the Impact campus at because they have to go back to their home campus? What are the current numbers?
I would say, out of our current population, and at this point I didn't come with that number.
Just a rough estimate.
I would say less than 20.
And with schools?
The majority are at Lee High School.
Right, and that's the one issue that I have, is that it's much easier to participate at Lee High School than it is for those students to get to GCM or to Sterling for the extracurricular activities. Now, I know this isn't part of the memo of understanding about where they are eligible, but I believe the board has the authority with the UIL to set the parameters of where the eligibility for those impact students would be if we so choose to. Am I correct, Mr. O'Ryan?
we've called UL on this, and their response has been to us is that the student's eligible where they lay their head at night, where they reside. That's the zone by which they, unless you removed zones, that would be the way that they could participate anywhere. But our current understanding from the UIL interpretation is that they can participate at their home campus wherever they reside.
Okay. But to
Within
me,
the purview of the board to.
to me, it's a burden on a student from the Highlands area to participate in extracurricular activities if they're at Impact. Whereas for the Lee students, it's not. They can walk to practice. So I just don't think it's equitable the way we handle the extracurricular activity for the Impact students. But again, I know this isn't part of the memo of understanding, but I think it's something the board.
What's in the memo of understanding, the memorandum of understanding in regards to extracurriculars? My only problem is that we're giving them, I mean, there's two ways to look at it. A good way is we're giving the kids an opportunity to get college, to get an associate's basically. And I know we have a little bit of there's some situations with that. But the other part is that the kids at the regular campus don't get that opportunity as much. And once again, if a kid were to drop that 2.5, and our bands, for example, we don't have the numbers that we had 15 years ago. And all of a sudden, you have a kid who obviously these kids are overachievers. They're the cream of our kids, right? And all of a sudden, one of those kids, for whatever reason, drops it, and they lose a first chair or something. That hurts. Or they've been practicing. That hurts. That not hurts that kid that didn't pass. It hurts a whole program. And that's where I have a little bit of issue that to me, I think these kids should be very involved at their campus because they knew going in what was going to be the sacrifice.
But Mr. Laredo, what you're asking tonight is not to change the MOU, but for us to revisit the actual eligibility criteria.
Well, one of the things that's a little bit upsetting about this is we got this MOU so late. After we've already started school, I think it was due like in August. When was the MOU originally due?
End of June, actually.
Right. Yeah, usually you'll finish it during the summer. We had some adjustments that were made between the college and the district, and I think with changes in staff at the college, I think that kind of pushed our process back a little bit for this year.
Right. So I mean, I'm not asking. I mean, it's written, and like I said, we're already late as it is. But this is something that I seriously want us to look at. I really wanted to look at it this year, but we didn't know this was going on. Know that that's how I feel next year.
And the students that were enrolling for Impact for this upcoming year, our 8th graders, that process started in January. So our MOU at that point, we were allowing them to participate in extracurricular. So you're right, the timing for next year would be January. At this point. But yeah, we would want to make a decision prior to January when they go through all of the parameters and the expectations for the upcoming school year. But the incoming freshmen for this year, we're already under the impression that they get to participate and they get to go to their home campus for those activities.
Right, and if we did change this, I would obviously want to be in favor of grandfathering
Right.
those, because that's not fair to the kids that we make these decisions, but that's just the way I feel. And like I said, I know that we're late, and that's why I'm going to vote to, in fact, I'll make the motion to approve the MOU. But I feel that way.
Can I ask one question again? You said 20, were you meaning 20%?
No,
Just 20?
approximately 20 students.
Out of 400?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
And it may not even be that high. I was kind of guessing on the high side.
Yeah.
We were
That's what
thinking
I
10
wonder-
to 15.
Yeah. That's that was what I was curious about when you said 20. I didn't know if you meant percentage or, yeah.
Just the actual number.
So, yeah.
So, Mr. Laredo, did you make a motion?
I have him
Yes,
down
ma'am.
as motioning
I
to
second the
approve.
motion.
Okay, all right. We have a motion from Mr. Laredo, a second from Ms. Coffey to approve the MOU between Goose Creek Impact and Lee College. Any discussion? All in favor, please indicate by raising your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Passes 6-4, one absent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. Item B, future board agenda items, board training and board meetings.
I'd like to put this on a future board agenda. Whenever it's appropriate for the school, for the district to bring it back up, I would like for us to talk about this
So sometime prior to January.
sometime prior to January.
Mhm.
Preferably not the second meeting in December.
Okay.
Bless you.
Bless
Bless
you.
I got you.
Okay. Got that? Anybody else?
Just for everyone's awareness, update 106 is right around the corner, following 105.
Yes.
And Dr. Kelstrom will be making a presentation at the next board meeting and his team regarding update 106.
Some other items that had been asked for at previous meetings were research on high school start times in the area. And I know Mr. O'Brien did provide that, a survey that I asked him to do locally with it. And I know a former, I'm sorry, I'm foggy tonight, people. A current board member shared some information with us through an email also. But I feel that that satisfied what the request was at the time. So I wasn't asking for a presentation at the board table for that. Unless somebody wanted to say they want to consider in the future changing the start time for our schools. Other than that, I'm going to consider that to be a closed issue unless
Mr.
I do
Short.
differently. Yes?
That was something that I wanted to consider
You do want-
a future
for high
board
school.
agenda.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
And I as well.
What time did it start?
8:50. No, 8:50. My son didn't get off the bus and talking.
Okay. Remind everybody that we have TASB coming up, I believe in 2 weeks, September 23rd through 25th. And then we have our Team of 8 training, and I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me, October 26th. Please make sure you have that on your calendar. Anything else, board?
It's on a Wednesday, right? Okay. And we also have a vote count meeting.
That's on Wednesday, the
Next week.
21st, I believe? Yes. Okay.
At 1:30?
Is it 1 or 1:30? I believe it's
1:30.
1:30, okay. All right,
Vote count.
we're going to move into closed session now. The board will now recess into closed session pursuant to the following sections of the Texas Open Meetings Act, 551.071, 551.072, 551.073, 551.074, 551.075, 551.076, 551.082, 551.083, 551.084, and 551.087. No action will be taken while the board is in closed meeting. To open session, I want to remind everyone no action was taken while the board was in closed session. Moving on now to our next item, it's E, consideration of personnel. Mr. O'Brien?
At this time, administration would recommend that the board accept the elections and resignations as presented.
I move that we approve.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Cockrell, a second from Mr. Laredo to approve the notification of elections and resignations. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your hand, please. Any against? Motion passes 6-4, one absent.
And we have administrative elections, coordinator of mathematics. This is going to be horrible. I did not get pronunciation prior to making this announcement, but Inken Hopner, as coordinator for mathematics.
I move to approve that election.
Second.
We have a motion from Ms. Coffey, a second from Mr. Laredo to approve the election of Mr. Hoffner as coordinator of math. Any discussion? All in favor, please raise your right hand. Any opposed, same sign. Motion passes 6-4, one absent.
Next, administrative elections for coordinator of special education, compliance, and accountability, Dawn Masson-Gill.
I move for approval.
Second.
Motion from Ms. Cockrell, second from Mr. Laredo to approve the appointment of Dawn Masson-Gill, special ed coordinator of compliance and accountability. Any discussion? All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? We have 6 for, 1 absence.
That concludes our recommendations at this time.
Okay. This brings us to item 7 on our agenda, which is adjournment. Having no other business, it is 7:24, and we stand adjourned.